Folks, Clayton Bishop here with Leica Microsystems, and I want to go through the LAS Easy software. We're going to do a 5 to 10 minute crash course here on some of the basic functions for our educational software. So I'm sharing the screen right now of McHenry County College, which has the Leica DM500 classroom set with the ICC50W camera. And we have it connected via USB to the computer so that we can access and use LAS Easy for the instruction of students. So once you have your camera hardware turned on, we're going to double click here and our software is going to load up. Cool. There boots our software. We have our live image and there's our auto exposure coming into play. Right now I have the 4x objective being used. I can switch it to 10 and focus on the microscope, focus to go up to 40, focus on the microscope sample. So we notice that the light is adjusting automatically. That's because we have auto exposure turned on right here. If I wanted to go to manual exposure, I could, but auto will work just fine. So auto exposure turned on, you can change or play with the overall brightness, but auto exposure is great because as I change lenses, the camera adjusts for me and gives me a nice looking picture. If I want to take a picture, I can press acquire image right here. I'm just going to tell it which lens we're using. Press 4x in that case, and we've taken a picture. I can go back to acquire, and my camera is resetting. I can play with the gamma settings right here. Recommend something on the lower end of the spectrum. In your saturation settings, recommend something at the lower end of the spectrum. And we'll wait for the camera to catch up. There we go. Input options. Here you can choose how many pixels are being used in your final image and in your live format. You can go with less, you can go with more. Totally up to you. White balance. So I'm going to deliberately mess up the colors here. If your colors are strange like this with this greenish tint, you can select this button right here, click on the background, and your colors are going to be reset so everything looks nice and normal. You could also do it with the entire screen. If you have nothing but background, press that button right there. So your white balance has been set. So now you have the proper colors right here. Again, I'm going to move up to 10x. My auto exposure is going to catch up with me. I'm going to acquire an image. I'm going to choose 10x. Cool. Now the picture is being taken and has been saved. Back to acquire. Camera will reset to the settings we had in place. If you want to save your settings, if you really like how the image looks with all these sliders right here, you can go to input options and create a new configuration. You could just save what you have it set as, name it whatever you'd like, and go back to it when necessary. If you don't like these magnification items coming up when you take a picture, you can deselect calibrate and it'll just take the picture. If you don't care about scale bars, measurements, anything like that. I do, so I'm going to turn on calibrate. If you press reset right here, you're going to put the camera back in its factory default settings. I can go right here to the record movie button, and now I can film a 30-second movie. So I'm going to move around. This is all being recorded, and then stop the movie. If I go in here to browse, I can rewatch it. So go to acquire when you want to have your live image and acquire images from here. I'm going to go up to 40x and then we'll go into the processing tab. Cool. Acquire an image, make sure we choose the right lens. And we're in process back here. You can choose to show the image name. You could write a description if you want, right there. You could add date or time or both or neither. You can add a scale bar. You can choose the settings for it. I can click show line and I can come right here and draw a distance line if I want. Cool. So now we have a distance line drawn between these two samples of tissue. I can click edit and I can move that right there if I want. I can also go to font where I can change the text color and the background color if we want to. Cool. You can also make the backgrounds transparent if you want. Actions, you can click merge, and then we're going to burn those annotations onto the image. If I go back to line, I can click show, and I can do a distance line like that. Looks good. You can also do an arrow if you want to point to a specific feature. Just increase the thickness so we can actually see it. And then you can add a label. So say nucleus. Right there, it'll be added. Actions, merge. And now we've saved these annotations on top of our image. Okay, you can also enhance if you want to change the color after the fact. Back to acquire. If I'm teaching students, I can go to full screen right here, get a larger image. Process, good. We haven't spent much time in this browse tab. If I go to browse, I can open up my directory browser, and I'm saving everything to a folder on the desktop called microscope images. You could create another folder, and then if you select this button, you can set that as the capture folder so that everything is saved there. I'm going to keep what I have though, microscope images. Keep it as the capture folder. You could create another one, restart the software, and it'll auto-populate in this menu that is searching through your computer. Last thing, options. You can go to preferences. You can choose if you want this saved in JPEG or TIFF format. If you want a common image being saved with, or common name being saved with every image, you can press OK to save those settings. Okay, so again, live image, looks good. Zoom out. Wait for the auto exposure. Because I have calibrate selected, when I choose to take this image, I'm going to tell 4x, acquiring image. There's our picture. Annotate, put on a scale bar, show. Font, I don't like how those two look together, so I'm going to make that a little different. That doesn't look great either. Cool. Actions, merge. Cool. Now you've got that burnt on. This is just a little crash course on how to use the LAS Easy software with your educational Leica microscope. Hope this helped. Talk to you all soon.